Welcome to today's episode of the Gavel Drops, and we've got no other than the legend that is Tom Panos. Good to see you. How's it going, Tom?
Really good, really good. I'm enjoying the day. I'm enjoying Birmingham, and I'm enjoying talking about auctions, and I'm hoping that auctions become more mainstream in the UK. I think they're needed.
Yeah, 100%. So when did you start in the real estate industry?
So I started in real estate in 1987.
And that was straight into...
So pretty much from university,
Yeah.
I got into real estate. So like would have been around 20 years of age.
And then auctions, was it straight into auctions, or did you do...
So not the first 2 years, but I started doing auctions from around 1990.
And then what drawed you into the auction space, as you would say?
So Ray, for me, I just got sick and tired of selling a property and then it crashing and then having to sell it again and then crashing, right? So I hated having sales rescind. Auctions got rid of that problem. The second thing is I found that auctions gave me profile and branding, and they stood out a lot more than non-auction properties. So it would actually help you get more business. And then the third thing is days on market. The fact that there was a deadline date, I could get deals done in 28 days, not in 280 days, meant that you could sell a lot more real estate. So to me, it was done out of necessity in my business because I was struggling with the old model.
The old model. And I think that's, suppose, it's traditionally in the UK, predominantly most properties sold under the old model, which is 4 months.
So when I was doing auctions in my marketplace was less than 5%, and we were doing 50% of our properties by auction. So we probably caused the marketplace over a 2-year period to change to an auction marketplace.
And now in Australia is predominantly, is it, what's the share now?
50% of properties in Sydney go to auction, 50% of properties in Melbourne go to auction, 40% of properties in Brisbane go to auction. In the total country, when we take into account Adelaide, Perth, the whole of Australia, it is 20% of properties go to auction.
Because in the UK, it used to be 1%, it has increased to 3%, but it's still nowhere near where it should be.
Yeah, so I think, Ray, realistically, UK needs to be running at a 20% auction model. And the reason I say it is auctions give you and the consumers the clearest transparency on what's happening in the marketplace. Like, to me, like, auctions are clear. It's been a method that's been used for hundreds of years, maybe thousands of years, where basically we say is let the best person win and have natural, transparent conditions where people fight over it. Turns out people perform better when there's competition.
When they're under pressure. Correct. And I think in the UK it is predominantly, people think it's the lower end of the market. In Australia, what predominantly, is it any property or is it?
There's no, like, there are properties that are 50 million that go to auction. There are properties that are 500,000 that go to auction. Essentially, auctions aren't dictated by price point. They're dictated by, is the agent that goes out to appraise the property, are they auction oriented? If they are, they'll bring auction up. The second thing is the vendor comfortable, or do they hate auction? If they hate it, I wouldn't be doing it. But if they're uncomfortable, I think it's your job as an estate agent to point out the pros versus the cons. Ray, I got to tell you, I had one simple process that I used to say to a vendor at a listing presentation to get them to go to auction. I'd say, my average days on market for an auction property is 30 days. My average days on market for a non-auction property is 150. What do you prefer to do?
What solution do you want to? And do you still get the same buzz? Because I still get the same buzz from when I started in 2018. Do you still get the same auction buzz for each one? Because how many do you do a day on a Saturday?
So in the summer months and spring, it's 12 to 14. In the winter months, it's about 6 to 10. On a Saturday. They're all on site. So I've got to, unlike you where you can do them in one spot where you have every month, that day, you're doing them online. I've got to actually drive from one property to the other.
Because we've always thought about that in the UK. Would it work in the UK? And predominantly most people say no because of the weather.
Yeah.
But it's kind of, I suppose, from a point of an auction to have people standing and looking at what, standing inside or standing and looking at what potentially could buy, I'm sure the emotion is a lot more compared to if they were buying it online.
100%. So what actually happens is social proof and scarcity are the two biggest drivers of behaviour of people, and in real estate we see it in auctions. So scarcity is when they see someone bid 1 million, they've taken their house off it, and then they say, no, I'm taking it back, right? So seeing is believing. And the second thing is social proof. When people are seeing other people want it, people realise it must be good. When they don't see anyone want it, they think, oh, I'm the only one, it mustn't be good. So 100%. The fact that people are there helps a lot. I actually found, Ray, even during lockdown 2021 to 2022, where we weren't allowed to do auctions physically, so we were doing them online, I still made sure that I used a system that allowed the buyers to be seen on the screen, because it was really powerful to see someone bid and another person on the Zoom screen think, okay, I better bid again, because they were seeing a person take their house off their hands.
Yeah. So it's that interaction, isn't it, that drives the competition.
Correct.
Of seeing who you're bidding against.
Correct.
That makes it more competitive.
Correct. Seeing is believing, and I think that it's a really transparent way. I mean, like in a for sale scenario, we see it all the time, Ray. You know, a buyer says, oh, will they accept this as an offer? And you say, oh, I've already got a buyer that'll pay that. Like, no one believes that crap, right? Yeah. Like, no, it's all salesy. At least with an auction, they're seeing it. That person wants it.
At that level.
Yeah.
And do you think the industry is going to change and keep on going in Australia, where more people will choose auction, or will it just stay the same, do you think?
So auction numbers have been increasing. It hasn't always been 50%, right? So they have been increasing. So why is that the case? I think number one is people are becoming time poor in a world where, like, people are just under the pump. So what auctions does is it saves people time. Why would an owner allow their house to have buyers come through it for 6 months of people that are just sightseeing, right? Right? When you can get it done in 28 days and be done with it. It's quite stressful for an owner to have the home looking good for 6 months, right? Waiting for that random private inspection that's going to take place. At least with an auction, they know, hey, the month of October is our auction month. We're going to have our house looking amazing. We're going to make it easy for people to have access to the property. And at the end, as far as I'm concerned, mate, it shouldn't take 6 months to sell a property. Like, get the price right. A decision on buying a property should be there and then. It should be happening in there that week.
Yeah, I think that's the concept, isn't it? I think with the private treaty sale, the delay, it's that uncertainty that there's always going to, chance is going to fall out of, because like,
correct,
fall out of bed and never go through. Where auction brings that security that you can never get in the private treaty sale.
Listen, we do our auctions, Ray, on a Saturday. Everyone walks away on a Saturday. Every buyer, every seller, every agent walks away with certainty. It's sold, it's going ahead, it's not falling through. And it's also good for the buyer, because I've got to tell you, I don't think buyers like having to go through regret. I don't think they like the fact going home and thinking, should we buy it? We've got to get our clause, right? That confuses them. They end up having paralysis by over-analysis. I think a lot of people like to know certainty, predictability, it's done, we can move forward. And that's what an auction does.
100%. And in an Australian auction, so if I was buying one today outside the house, what do they pay on the, did he pay anything there and then the buyers?
10%.
And then you've got to complete in the 28 days?
90%. Well, our completion can be between 4 to 6 weeks.
Oh, so it's still the same, isn't it, transition-wise?
Yeah.
So it is going to improve. So what would you say the UK market needs to do to improve and give people more auction sales?
The first thing is it needs some leadership from the estate agents themselves. They've got to turn around and say, hang on a second, if it's better for my owner to sell in 28 days, not 128 days, I should be giving them that as an option. So it takes courage to sit there at your next listing presentation and give the option to the vendor. That's the first thing. The second thing is you need, as an agent, to fine-tune your auction skills, because in 4 weeks you're going to have to learn how to keep buyers interested for the month, get them to come to the auction. Number two, you're going to need to make sure that you as an agent also can manage the vendor's expectations, right? Because during the 4-week period, a lot of your owners are also going to realign their expectations. When they're getting all the feedback, they're going to turn around and say, hang on a second, maybe $1 million, we are being optimistic. Maybe we need to realign our expectations to 850 or 825. So I think you're going to need to improve vendor management skills, but I think for auctions to go to the next level in the UK, it's going to need the media to get behind them, and companies like 𝗵𝗵𝗶𝘀, who make a lot of money out of the real estate industry, to actually support agents by actually positioning auction as not the system that sells desperate owners, or not the system that sells homes that can't be sold, but auction should be a method that is available for an owner that wants to use that process because they want the competition. They want to actually have a day that they know that they can be moving out of their home and move on with their life. So it is going to need the media to actually start running some positive stories. And I think when you have the stakeholders in the industry being the agents, the media, the portal companies, but also the legal industry. The legal industry has got to sit there and be supportive of it, because if you've got a buyer that's going to their solicitor and the solicitor saying, oh no, don't bid at auction, no, I wouldn't do that, that's not helpful. That doesn't happen in Australia and New Zealand. The legal fraternity is fully aware that auctions are a way that people transact, and lawyers make it easy for them. I mean, the really good lawyers, Ray, they even show up to auctions. Yeah. They show up to auctions supporting their clients. As a minimum, they're available on phone during the auction if they've got to be spoken to by the buyer or the seller. I think the opportunity is golden. If there's only 3% of properties going on in the UK, I think the place is open for a couple of agents that are going to show leadership, that are going to say, we're going to actually become auction champions.
Yeah, and push it through. And then I think it's like anything, isn't it, with the media? The media in the UK is predominantly bashes auctions in the UK. So if you get as a leading agent and start to showcase actually the good things that can, the speed, the security, and showcase exactly what auctions can do, your profile, especially in your local market, will be above any other agent.
So what happens, Ray, is you've got to create case studies. Case studies that demonstrate to people, this is what happened here, and positive case stories. And then some of these stories need to be sort of have the light shown on them in the media, and I think that would help a lot.
Perfect. Well, we're just going to finish up now because everyone's coming on. So there you go, Tom. You can have your episode of the Gavel Drops.
Going once, twice, third and final call. Going. Sir, if you sleep on it, you won't be sleeping in it. Sold. All righty.
Yeah. Cheers, mate.
Thank you, legend.